What's up, guys? Dusty Shaw Fitness here for part 2 of my experience in LA Skid Row County Jail. Started out in the San Diego Skid Row. I told you about the situation I got in with the rival gangs, and the friends of mine got me sent up to the infamous Los Angeles Skid Row, and my God, was it everything and more that the documentaries show you. I thought that I went to a third world. I could not believe when I pulled up and it was just Tent City on steroids. I mean, just once again, the difference I did see between LA and San Diego was LA Skid Row was not as segregated. Now, you've seen your different racial-based gangs, but they intermingled. There wasn't like a white street, a white and Hispanic street, and a black street that were stayed separated. This was much more intermingled, and it was a huge population. Now, I was not there that long. The violence was just gunshots going off all night long, like the 4th of July. And man, did it not take me long to get into it, and I'm doing my best to just get myself home. I'm going around asking for, again, my friend gave me a cell phone when he sent me up to Los Angeles, which, I get there. By that point, I was starting to come down, so I go to get myself well with some dope, and it was a setup. Guy gives me a free shot of dope. I nod out in his tent, and I wake up. I feel he's not there. Leaves me in his tent alone. Start feeling my pockets. My cell phone's not in there. So I walk out the tent and look around. All right. So I left off where I went into the tent, nodded out, woke up, cell phone's missing out my pocket, along with the gentleman in the tent. So I walk out, and it's like a adjacent tent. So I asked the other guy, I said, "Hey man, what's up with Shorty?" It was a short dude. And he said, he, took off. I said, "Well, did anybody else come in the tent?" He said, "No, it was just y'all." I said, "Okay, well, I fell asleep." He said, "I know, you defecated on my brand new comforter." I said, "I'm sorry about that. Sorry, TMI. This is the nasty, real stuff of addiction, guys. All right, being on the streets of California, that's a nasty place. All right." There's illegals from Mexico there. Not saying nasty people. I'm just saying they bring different stuff that our biology is not used to. All right. And those streets are disgusting. All right. Syringes all over the place. Feces all over the place. Anyway, so yeah. But anyway, I said, well, he was the only one in the tent. That means he took the cell phone. So it was, kind of odd for him to, first meeting him. I mean, it's the drugs are so plentiful out there. It's normal for people to get you well if they seen you, especially someone like me that's big and jacked and is an asset, So, and I told him what I did down, in San Diego and why I'd come up there. So, I could be an asset. It's worth him hooking me up. But it seems and I later found out, but it seems at the time that he loaded me up so that I would fall asleep, and went through my pocket and took my brand new cell phone, which meant a lot. I really needed that. It's one of the really odd things about Los Angeles and San Diego at Skid Row is there are no power outlets, no electrical circuits. There's nowhere that you can plug a phone charger in. Look it up. I kid you not. And because of the homeless population and crime, you cannot go into any store or ask any normal person that's not on the streets to use their phone. It's so crazy that when I rent a Marriott, several $100 night room, I can't even use their front desk phone. It's insane. But anyway, so I said, hey, so this is this guy's regular spot? He's like, yeah. So I went on the lookout for the dude. So I find him, and someone told me, he's like, yeah, he's in that tent. So I was like, hey, Shorty. That's what I'll call him in this video because he was short. I said, hey, it's Dusty. He said, hold on, I'll be out in a minute. I said, no, I need to see you now. I'll give you a few minutes, but I need to see you now. It's important. I got something for you. I wanted to get you back for getting me. That way he'd come out. All right, but I think he knew I was on to him. So he's not coming out the tent. Send someone else out there and was like, hey, man, we're doing some business. He can't come out. He's got his head poking out the tent. So at that point, I grabbed that zipper and I opened it all the way up and I just stepped right in. And I walk in and it's a tent slam full of Mexican gangbangers. So I said, hey, my apologies. Didn't know what I was walking into, but this little MFer right here went through my pockets while I was asleep and took my phone. They said, oh yeah, what kind of phone was it? Because some stuff's been missing around here. And I explained it to them. So they went through his pockets. Sure enough, he's got two phones, two of the same phones. And he's like, no, it's my phone. And they're like, I said, oh yeah. I said, open it up. What's the passcode? Because I had a passcode to it. And he said, I started finagling through it. So before I could even take it from him, this Mexican gangster grabs this short little dude by his ankles, picks him straight upside down, and shakes him. And by that point, he had tried to put the phones back in his pocket. Phones fell out. Other stuff falls out, and they just ran through it and took everything. Handed me my phone. And they said, he's all yours. Turns him around and kicks him hard as they can right out the tent. He goes flying out. He takes off running. So I chase him down. And I said, hey, dude. I said, you took my phone. I said, you owe me something to make it right. He said, I got you. Follow me. So anyway, we went. He made it right. I said, don't ever do that again. I later on went to run into him and deal with him and never had any issues with him again after that. Every time he seen me, he would give me something. Anyway, people like to gossip out there, and it turns out that dude, this was the shorty was a black dude, and but he wasn't a gangster type. He was man, my gosh, he was short. But anyway, he tried to go to some gangsters that he did some stuff for, and tried to spin the story and say that me and some Mexicans robbed him. It's not how it went down. It went down exactly how I told you. Stuff had already went missing in their tent, so when they figured it was him, and it probably was. So anyway, that's how my first day and interaction went in the Los Angeles Skid Row. By that time, it's starting to get dark, and I met the, for lack of a better word, shot caller, the guy that ran the streets and was like the head white dude for the area. Funny thing about this dude is just recently, like last 6 months, I seen him on Soft White Underbelly. I was like, where do I know this guy? And as soon as he said that he was on Skid Row, he had just done about 20 years in prison and was homeless. And he said he was just on the street selling just enough to get on his feet, and then he was going to get a place, and you know, he was ready to be done with the life. And since he's already told his story, I may attach a picture of him just to kind of add some imagery to the story for you. All right, so by this time it's dark at night, and this dude, he knows those streets, you know, like, you know, a palm reader that can read the lines. He can read the streets and all that. He explains everything to me, and me and him headed off, and we're like tight as thieves right from the get-go, because I can't remember his name, but I'll look it up on Soft White Underbelly and show you. But solid dude, did about 17-20 years in the California penal system, went all the way up the ranks, ended up in Pelican Bay, was in the SHU, a bunch of solitary confinement for years, and you know, he's a real deal gangster. By this point, he was getting older and mature, and was really ready to sort his life out. He just didn't have any help. But anyway, cool thing, I was later on, fast forward the story, I'm gonna go back to where I am now, but just a little quick recap, because he helped me out so much there. He gave me a tent right off the bat, put it right next to him, because he was so feared and respected. Having my tent right next to him and introducing me to everybody as his boy, that assured that I wasn't going to have any problems. But as soon as it hits dark, you really see the prostitutes come out. You start hearing the gunshots. You start hearing screaming. My first night there, I seen a brutal stabbing. Now, the ambulance ended up picking this dude up and carrying him off, a dude that got caught stealing. And I don't know if that dude made it or not. I would be shocked if he did. I mean, I've seen many stabbings, you know, locked up. And I tell you what, this dude, I mean, and it was several guys on him, several Mexican gangsters on him. And man, they were, I mean, stabbing him brutally with bone crushers. All right, and if you've ever witnessed this, real deal stabbings, they don't sound like, if you took a knife and you just, you know, a sharp knife and just pushed it through some flesh, it wouldn't make much of a sound. But when you got some, you know, real deal people that know how to push that blade, what it actually sounds like is thuds, thud, thud, thud. Like almost like someone's punching someone really hard in the ribs. But it's a big old, about 12-inch blade that's burying them. And the screaming kept going until there wasn't no more screaming, and all you heard was gurgling. So yeah, I would be surprised if that dude made it or not. I can, you know, them EMTs, they see the craziest of the crazy out there. All right. I really respect the EMTs that work that area, because my God, are they overloaded with violence and overdoses. And man, those people, I hope they get paid well. And I heard they don't have I have a short turnover rate because of the amount of trauma they experience just from what they see. But man, my gosh, I was only there a short time, and wow, that was my first night there, and that's what I've seen. Now, here's a wild one. I had never lived or been to that area before. Los Angeles is huge. I've been to Huntington Beach. I've been to Orange County, I think just north. I've been to Long Beach. The only place I really spent some time, Huntington Beach is Orange County, excuse me. But Los Angeles is somewhere I never spent much time. Other than, you know, I always fly into LAX airport because, you know, from my last video, my experience at San Diego airport. Avoid San Diego airport at all costs. Always go through LAX. But what are the odds that when I am on Skid Row It's lonely. I know nobody there. And I am backing up really quick because there was one thing I left out of the San Diego Skid Row. I had, when I had a girl, my very first night on the streets there, I had a hotel, and remember, the airport lost my luggage intentionally with everything, and a girl stole the first cell phone I was able to get. Had enough cash in my pocket to get one of those burner phones on the streets there, and a girl stole it from me. And anyway, I couldn't get a hold of my wife to let her know that I wasn't going to make it home. And you know, a good couple days go by. You can't use a phone anywhere, like I was saying. And I was pretty down and out, you know, because I'm, you know, worried about my wife. I don't want my wife to be sad. Really sad thing. I'm a man. I'm a very stoic man. I can count on a couple fingers the times I've cried in my life. And that's not to say that I'm not an empathic person, because I'm extremely empathic. I'm just not a crier. All right. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. All right. I've been through a lot of stuff. So stuff just, you know, people handle trauma in different ways. Really sad, traumatic things manifest in the form of anxiety or depression. It's internalized. It's not outwardly expressed. I don't cry. So like I said, I can definitely count on one hand, maybe even a few fingers. I never even cried when my mother and father died, and I was extremely close to my mother and father. My dad was not only both my parents were great, and I was as close as you can get to your parents. And my dad wasn't just a good dad, he was my best friend. And my mom, we were so close that when my mom, they both had decent health, there was no reason to suspect they would die. And my mom, this was back when I was fighting professionally. I'm in Richmond. It's an hour away from where she lived. And I would talk to my parents about every day. And one particular night, we were so close that we had very close intuition. Anytime something bad happened to me, my parents, particularly my mom, knew. I mean, even as a kid. Something as simple as when I was a kid, I had gotten a fight during a soccer game with one of the kids in my neighborhood, and during the fight I fell back and hit my head on a concrete well, which split my head open. And that took no time. It happened in a matter of seconds in another yard. By the time I already stood up, there was my mom. She had a premonition that it happened. She was already there. Another time, a police dog attacked me and ripped my leg open. It was over 100 stitches. It was like 48 stitches inside and out. You could see my shin bone. All right. As soon as the dog bite happened, no sooner than they got the towel wrapped around my leg, 5 houses down in the neighborhood, there was my mom already. That was the kind of closest intuition we had. Well, the night my mom died from benzo withdrawal. She also had fentanyl in her, but she had malpractice. She had been on benzos 30 years, and a really, really horrible doctor just took her off cold turkey, which you cannot do. Benzos are one of the only 2 drugs that you can die from the withdrawals alone. Benzos and alcohol, which is why they are the most dangerous drugs. You can make the argument with fentanyl because of the overdoses, but as far as withdrawals are the only 2 that can kill you. Well, my mom, the night she died, she's an hour away. I got an intuition that I just needed to go check on my mom. So I told my girl at the time, she said, well, if you have that feeling, let's go check on her. So we went there. I knocked on the door. My dad comes to the door. I said, Dad, where's Mom? I could tell by the look on his face. He said, well, she's in the bedroom, not doing well. I said, what do you mean she's not doing well? He said, well, she's kind of unresponsive, but, you know, I'm right there with her, talking to her. She's just a little in and out of it. I think the fentanyl maybe has her in and out. in the less than 30 seconds between, well, in the less than minute between when he was in the room with her and came to answer the door and me and my girl going back there, she had died in that short of time. I missed her by a matter of minutes. My girl at the time was a nurse, or had been, and performed proper CPR and everything she could. We lived right by the hospital. Hospital got there, was unable to revive her. That's the kind of closeness we had. And anyway, me and my wife have the same thing, even stronger. All right. And I overdosed on a near daily basis while I was out there on Skid Row, San Diego in California. And she felt that. And one particular time was close. The Narcan that they were using on the street was not reviving me. The EMTs had to come get me and rush me to the hospital. She called the hospitals around and the morgues, and the morgue said that, asked my identification and said that a white guy with a shaved head covered in tattoos, the type of tattoos I have, muscular guy, nobody looks like that on those streets, was in the morgue and needed to be identified. So that near about broke her, and she couldn't get a hold of me for a few days. So for a few days, while she's waiting for confirmation, she thinks her husband's died. I get a hold of a phone and I call her, and when she heard my voice, and she just broke down. And I have been through a lot of trauma. I have never had anything send me to my knees and break my heart like that. When I started crying, I didn't stop crying for hours. After we got off the phone, I was just walking down the streets and I just couldn't control it. I just could not stop crying. It was something about the sound of her voice. I had never heard it sound like that, the hurt. And I felt so helpless and hopeless because the airport had got rid of my stuff to where I couldn't leave. And man, was I just so broken, so hopeless and helpless that I'd hurt my wife like that. That my selfish actions, because of my disease of addiction and inability to manage it, had hurt my wife like that, the person that means the most to me. And it's things like that that I keep fresh in my mind as I can, to remind myself to never go back, to never pick up once, because I went to only pick up once just to get well enough to get on that plane. And that is the disease of addiction. A normal person, I don't have a problem with alcohol, never have, don't like it. Last time I had alcohol was 7 years ago. I just don't, alcohol doesn't have an effect on me. All right, but a normal person could take a Xanax and get on a flight and it not be a problem. It is not normal to take one Xanax and that turn into months of San Diego, Skid Row, LA County Jail, and a lot of tears and violence, and just so many times I could have died. So this is part 2. I started out with part 1 being really PG because I want to really test the waters of what I can get away with. As you can see in this video, I'm letting loose a little more, and as long as this one isn't censored, best and believe you turn in. If you like this video and you guys comment, I would like to get at least 10 comments and at least 20 likes. If I get both of those the first 24 hours this is dropped, tomorrow I will do part 3, and I promise you it will make what I said in this video sound like a PG-13 trip to a movie with the kids or water park. I got some stories that will blow this out the water. And when I go into the county jail story, you know, just did 30 days, misdemeanor time. It's a little less. They put me in the hole when I shouldn't have been. Said because I was a pro MMA fighter that I was not safe to be around staff and inmates, even though in that county jail, I never had a physical, let alone verbal altercation with staff. You know, if I'm in trouble, that's because of me. So I always treat staff with the utmost respect. You're only going to hurt yourself by giving the staff a hard time. So anyway, guys, I got some crazy, crazy stories. Please support this video, because that's what will support the algorithm to push it. You guys do that for me, I will give you all the good stuff on the next one. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the support.